throughout your songs. On that first album, there was a song called Conversations and Complications, which I think is actually a shorthand way of talking about the themes in a lot of your work, because I
Mhm.
think they're about the complications of life and the conversations that we have with other people, but also that we have with ourselves, and so those internal conversations. But I'm wondering if you think that's true to say.
That's 100% correct. Yeah. Everything I write is me reflecting on life. It's reflecting on something that I've lived through or a moment in time. And it's always from a personal perspective. And then I just try and give it a broader meaning to open it up a little bit. So it's not just everyone understanding that I'm pouring my heart out every time I write a song. Try and save a little bit of face.
Yeah. So, given that you said with that first album you had those 12 songs and you were just, wanted to do something with them, not sure exactly how to go about it, as you then progressed through your albums as a songwriter, did your process of writing songs change? Did your intentions ever change and come back to what they originally were? Because it's, 5 albums, there's a lot of songs there.
Yeah. Well, I have to give credit where credit's due. That first album was the first time I was ever put in a co-writing situation. And a guy named Ben McCarthy, who also co-produced the album, is a wonderful multi-instrumentalist who I was grateful to meet back then. And the three of us, so between Ben McCarthy, Anthony Lysenko, may he rest in peace, and myself, we created that record back there. But like I said, I was so green. I was kind of like, just here's my songs, guys. Please treat them carefully. And
Yeah.
the rest from there is really what those guys brought to the table. I had a few albums that I loved to listen to at the time. I was introduced to back then to Jason Isbell
Mhm.
by Anthony. Previous to that, he also introduced me to Ray LaMontagne and a few of those things. So there's elements of all of that in those albums that I loved. It was Southeastern, it was Gossip in the Grain, it was also Bruce Springsteen, and that's why we added a song of his on there. And it was that real authentic, what we now know as, or I now call Americana music, but it was all about the song, and it was about not focusing on anything but what the song needed. And it's always been that way. Nothing's ever changed since then. So I feel really fortunate that I met Anthony and I met Ben, and that first album was made that way. It was a real lesson for me in, I guess, in just where I want to go with music, and it was a great starting point.
From memory with Jamestown, I think you went to Nashville to record that. Or am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, well, close. I went to America. I actually went to New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
And the reason for that was I met a guy named Mark Schwersky who produced the Jamestown album, but he and I actually co-wrote Conversations together,
Right.
which was the last song added to the first record. And then we kept co-writing, and together Mark and I have written, oh God, dozens of songs now. But off that Jamestown album, there was Simple Things. There was, oh Lord, now I can't even think. There was a lot anyway. And right through there's been a bunch of songs even up to the last record, Look What You've Done to Me, and he also co-produced the latest record with Benji Pocock and myself. So that meeting of Mr. Swirsky was a really pivotal moment, and he's still a great friend and a great oh, he's more than just a friend. He's a real, he's a part of me musically now, and everything I do, I reach out for advice, and he's just always there.